Welcome back to another video where we will break down and explore the secrets of Titanfall 2. I am Ascendance from 4FS Gaming, and today we are continuing with the theme of looking at Northstar, and we will analyze her VTOL hover ability. This is her utility ability, and utility just about sums it up. The hover has no single purpose, and can be used in a variety of creative and interesting ways to help you out on the battlefield. As for the basics, when activated you will hover in the air for 3 seconds. The ability has a cooldown of 11 seconds. When airborne you cannot sprint or dash, although you may dash as soon as you begin descending. You will generally move pretty slowly while airborne as well, but this can be remedied with the Viper Thrusters perk, which we will discuss later. I want to focus on a few different tricks that you can take advantage of when using hover. Firstly, you can use it to take shortcuts around the map that no other Titan can. In the background, you can see examples of how VTOL hover allows you to move over terrain, barricades and walls in order to escape or pursue enemies. In a few instances, you are even able to hover onto or into areas that normally cannot be accessed by Titans. This aspect can give you a great positioning advantage, but as a general rule, you cannot hover into an area where Titans are restricted, or on top of most buildings. You will also be blocked by trees as well. Now let's discuss how VTOL hover interacts with other Titan abilities. As you are elevated, this definitely helps avoid some dangers on the ground, but not all of them. You can safely hover over Ion's tripwire, but if it detonates while you are above it, you will still take full damage, so this is still a risky proposition. You are definitely safe from any thermite on the ground while airborne, but make sure you move out of the hot zone so you do not land on anything nasty. Electric smoke reaches high enough that you will still take damage while above it, and funnily enough, Northstar tether traps will still activate and restrict your movement even when hovering over them. Although when this occurs, the tether has a much longer range, so your range of movement while trapped will be much greater than normal. You can also use the hover to avoid some offensive abilities. Both Scorch's Firewall and Ronin's Arcwave travel along the ground, so hovering will avoid both of these. You are still vulnerable to melee attacks however, and this includes both Ronin's Sword Core and Scorch's Flame Shield. Impressively, you can completely avoid Flame Core just by hovering over it. Hover also has some interesting interactions with your own abilities, so let's go over them now. You can use all other abilities while hovering. This can help you place railgun and cluster missile shots, and also you can tether trap close enemies as they pursue you, but the most interesting interaction is with your flight core. You can use hover to adjust the height of flight core. If you activate hover and then immediately activate flight core, the vertical momentum will cancel. This allows you to use flight core very close to the ground. Now this is extremely useful for using the core in those undercover areas where you normally could not pursue enemies due to the hover height being too high. But my favorite interaction is to use it to double your elevation during flight core. If you activate hover, wait until you start to drop down again, and then activate your flight core, you will fly much higher than before. You can use this to avoid all melee attacks, electric smoke, traps, sword core, flame core, and the added verticality gives your rockets a greater chance of striking home for damage. You also get a great view of the map to plan out your next move. It does require a bit of setup as mentioned, but it is definitely worth it. Please try this out, it is much more amazing than it sounds. Finally, I want to touch on using Viper Thrusters. This will really pump up that in-air movement speed and will allow you to use hover as a mobility tool to move, reposition and escape enemies even without using shortcuts. Just make sure that you have some momentum when you enter the hover in the direction that you want to go, or the full speed boost will not take effect. I'll finish off by mentioning what I see to be the 4 main uses of VTOL hover. The first is to position your shots, fly up to railgun over cover, etc. The second is to confuse and juke your enemy when they engage you at close range by literally going over their head. The third is to use it as a mobility tool to get around the map and to achieve superior positioning using Viper Thrusters and taking shortcuts wherever possible. And the final use is to modify the height of Flight Core so you can achieve maximum effect with this ability. I have been playing around with Northstar a lot lately, so possibly expect some more stuff about her in the near future. I would also like to announce that if you play Titanfall 2 on the Xbox One, I have started a public 4FS network. It is called 4FS Pilots, so if you would like to jump onto that with myself and other members of the community, please feel free to do so. I would love to have some company, and I may even try to organise some events through it in the near future as well. If you have any more information or stuff that you think that we've missed about VTOL Hover, please let us know in the comments, or if you have any requests for our future videos. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe so we can tell you when we have more videos coming out, or find us on Facebook and Twitter for all of our updates from 4FS Gaming.